Welcome to WEHM All Access, the podcast where we bring you in-depth conversations with the people shaping life right here on Eastern Long Island. Now, every episode, we're going to dive into the stories, the music, and the voices that define our community, from local leaders to the musicians you know and love. And throughout the summer, we're catching up with many of the performers taking the stage at the Great South Bay Music Festival, getting the inside scoop on their music, their journey, and what they're bringing to Patchogue this year. On this episode of WEHM All Access, we're speaking with Colin and Scott from the Allstars. It's a band built around community, harmony, and a deep love for the Grateful Dead. We get into how they formed, how their residency at the bitter end shaped their sound, and what they're bringing to their second Great South Bay Music Festival appearance. Here's our conversation on WEHM All Access. Well, coming up Saturday, July 25th, the Jambalaya Stage, 5:30 p.m., it's the Ripple Allstars, making their second appearance here at the Great South Bay Music Festival, and joined on the Zoom with Colin. Thanks for coming on. And also Scott, how are you guys?
Doing well, thanks. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for doing this. I appreciate it. And a good chance to kind of sit down and learn about you guys. And also, we were just chatting off the air as far as this is your second year doing the festival?
Correct.
That's right.
What? How did you guys get hooked up with Jim and the festival? I guess was it last year?
It came through our bassist, Ray Karras, who has been a member of the Electrics for many years, and they've played the festival a few times, and for various reasons they couldn't do it last year, so we kind of got slotted in as another choice, which was really exciting.
This is cool. I'm looking forward to this weekend of all the bands that are performing this year. Tell me a little bit about the Ripple Allstars. I guess I came together, I read in, 2023. What was the kind of the spark that brought you guys together to decide to do this project?
I think I can answer that one. So Rennie and I were part of another band for a number of years, and about 4 years ago, things went south, and we had a commitment to the bitter end, and I had about 2 weeks put together a band, and in about 2 hours, literally, I put together Colin, Ray, Jordan, and Rennie. And we thought it was going to be a one-off. And 4 years later, we're still doing it, and it's been bigger and better than ever.
There's 4 vocalists in the band. How do you decide who takes the lead on a given song? Do you guys have certain ones you want to do, or different? How do you decide that in the band? So many voices.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've had a few different, we've taken a few different approaches. I think actually one of the principles we kind of go by is that no one necessarily owns a certain song, because we all like to get a turn singing different songs in the repertoire, right? And that's kept it fresh for folks, and really helped everybody kind of enjoy themselves. There's not really a Jerry vocalist or a Bobby vocalist. We all 4 of us take turns singing songs.
Well, that people that don't know, you guys play obviously the Dead, but you also do some Dylan and Van Morrison too, and the Allmans, Clapton. What? How did you kind of decide which direction to go in as a band?
I would say, we definitely started out with Grateful Dead as the core repertoire, but we're doing this monthly residency plus other gigs, and eventually we just kind of wanted to surprise people a little bit. It's kind of in the realm of what you see a lot of bands like maybe TTB doing, or other bands, picking out stuff that's sort of adjacent or sympathetic in its vibe to the Dead and their scene and our scene, things that our people will enjoy hearing. We will pick them out, and we love to surprise everybody.
Where does the name Ripple Allstars come from? Obviously, the Dead, but is there kind of a reasoning behind that? How did you guys decide on that to be the name?
I think I just came up with it because I needed to really fast. And, when we started doing this.
2 hours, yes.
It was pretty much, I would believe it was in conjunction with our good friend Jen Bowden. And we started a potluck. Paul at the bitter end, Paul Rizzo, allowed us to bring outside food in at the beginning, which is really unheard of. And we started setting up food. People were able to bring food in from outdoors, and we set up an area in the back. And from Ripple Allstars, we came up with the Ripple Potluck, and it's just taken off tremendously. People bring everything from pizza to dumplings to any type of finger food.
That's fun.
Yeah, and it's just been great. Yeah, really special.
You were mentioning the monthly residency at the bitter end, kind of a signature part of your identity as a band involved from that. How has playing the same room shaped the band's evolution over time?
Well, it sure is nice to kind of have the same room over and over again. You really get used to it. We do notice when we're not in there, it's a little bit of more of an adjustment, to whatever sound situation we're in. And at the bitter end, they've got an amazing Meyer sound system. They're an official Meyer room now, and Meyer has great connections to the Grateful Dead. So that part of it's awesome. And we just have a great relationship with those guys and with that room. So.
Is it obviously it's kind of home base for you guys. Is it a chance to kind of try things out there and then bring them out to other gigs, I'd imagine?
Absolutely. I mean, we build our repertoire there. I was kind of looking back to get some numbers. We played something like 250 different songs in the residency, and of those, 80 or so are not Grateful Dead covers, like not a cover that, of a song that Bobby or Jerry did. Those, I would count those in the core repertoire, all the JGB stuff, etc. But it's just songs completely out of the Dead's normal repertoire, right? So we've had a lot of fun with it, and it really is a chance for us to do we do a fresh show every month. We kind of have this insistence on not repeating a song within a 4 to 6 month period. So
oh wow, that's a challenge.
We are really trying to cover. Scott and I joke that we have a goal of covering every song that Dead ever did. I think we're still a ways from that because there's a great big number of them that they only did once or twice. But we're having fun with it, that's for sure.
Keep pushing.
When you approach a song, what's kind of the balance between honoring the original feel and kind of letting your own instincts take over on it? So how does that work? Is that easy? I'd imagine you want to make sure you represent the song well, but you want to do your own thing.
Great. I'll probably just take a stab at this because Colin and I are always, recently we've been talking about this. We all have different visions, different versions, different years and eras of the Grateful Dead in mind. Colin may be thinking about the Wheel from the early 70s, and Rennie may be thinking 1990. Who knows? There's definitely a difference in the feel, the tempo, sometimes the vocals, and we sort of have to tone it in and agree that we're going to kind of focus on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my take on it is we try to bring something of ourselves to it. We're not really trying to reenact a certain show or a certain any particular version. At the same time, of course, we are listening to them and we're influenced by them. I find the sort of research part of it fascinating, to check out how the band did songs differently. Like Here Comes Sunshine, for example, like when they did it a lot in the early 70s and it was done a certain way. Then when they brought it back in the 90s, it was quite different. Yet still the same song. Yeah.
There's so much to choose from. Is there a song that you've tried that it's taken a while to kind of grow into doing it the way you want to do it, that it just hasn't kind of necessarily clicked yet?
I mean, a few things come to mind. Just some of the pieces are quite complicated.
Yeah.
So something like Sailor Saint, I think recently we've taken the tactic of breaking it up, so we only have to do one of them. It's just learning all the ins and outs of it has been really fun, and that one is really kind of coming into its own, I think, with us. We'll be doing one of those in one of our shows coming up. So that's an example.
How do you, you're improvising a lot on the stage. How do you keep it fresh, but also make sure that you kind of rein it in at times? You don't want to go necessarily too far.
Well, my bandmates might disagree. Sometimes I go pretty far, but I think it's important to let the music breathe. It's really an essential part of this music is that you kind of get on stage and you don't necessarily know everything that's about to happen. I think Phil felt very strongly about that, and the rest of the band members, obviously. And we really enjoy that part of it. But at the same time, you kind of got to be thinking about how long is the show? How long can you extend this jam? Can this go from, being what we thought might be a 7-minute song to being a 12-minute song? Well, if we do that, something else is going to get cut. So, you have to think about that, but also just have fun with it. And it depends also what the crowd energy is, right? What are we getting from people? How does it sound? Does this feel really good in this moment? Let's keep this going,
You mentioned, too, the improvisation, and with a festival like Great South Bay, there's a time limit. So how do you guys prepare the set list and leave still some room for improvisation?
Well, I think we owe thanks to Colin for that. Colin is the master at creating not just the set list, but we're all combined pushing songs that we'd like to play. But Colin takes the time and creates PDFs, song sheets for everybody, and obviously they're being shared on a Google Drive, and everybody has access to it, and it's constantly being updated and improved, and so we all try to focus on just that.
Sure, and to get the set list just right, I mean, you got to have some contingencies, right? You might end up cutting a song and kind of know that, if something goes long. Also, need to have maybe a song in reserve, a short one, if you end up 5 minutes short. This kind of festival, it does present its own challenges with a timeline. The timeline needs to be quite tight, and it's it's only fair to everybody that you stick within your time frame.
You've played Great South Bay before, I believe last year. What stands out about that performance compared to some others on Long Island?
I would say it is, frankly, the biggest stage we've been on physically. That was really fun. And just having professional sound there to help you set up, the team was flawless. They were amazing. We really loved it. It was fun also seeing all the other bands. We had a great time. We had a fairly good turnout from our usual crew from the bitter end. Luckily, that crew kind of comes from all over the place in the tri-state. We get people from Long Island and New Jersey and Westchester, and it's all a bunch of people that just really love live music, and many of them probably would be going to the Great South Bay anyway, but they came down to see our set, and we had a great vibe. We're looking forward to that again.
It's a Saturday, July 25th, Jambalaya Stage at the Great South Bay Music Festival, and you guys have been together for a few years now. I'm curious, you're obviously doing a lot of covers, but ever thought about evolving kind of into original material? I'd imagine there's some that you guys are looking at.
The band hasn't taken that step yet. It's been focused on kind of the legacy of the dead and really honoring that. That could happen. Definitely would be an interesting thing. And, some of us do write original tunes, but we haven't gone that direction yet, to be frank.
Yeah, no, it's something to consider. I was curious where you guys, because obviously you guys have been in a lot of different bands and projects over the years. As far as with the residency at the bitter end, which you do every month, how long do you guys play for? And how do you decide to kind of, I'd imagine you mentioned the Google Drive and different conversations. How do you build, you said you want to make them different. You said it was like 4 to 6 months, you don't play the same song?
Yeah, I mean, for the bitter end, we're developing the set kind of from the moment the last show ended. We do tend to bring things back at this point, now that we've been there, 3+ years. We're in our 4th year at this point. And so we have actually taken the step of saying, okay, here's the repertoire, right? Here's the tunes that we've done that are relatively easy that we feel we can pull off without a lot of notice, right? So that makes it a lot easier to pull together a show. Then we have, the folder of, quote, harder stuff, unquote, which, includes like the Sailor Saint that I mentioned, includes things like Terrapin or the whole Weather Report suite, which we performed recently at Garcia's. It was great fun, and other things like that.
What's it like performing at Garcia's and places that are so dead-centric, and you're honoring such an amazing legacy of music? Does that, it has to cross your mind, I'd imagine, when you're performing these songs?
Absolutely. Feels like home when we get to Portchester, whether it's the Cap or Garcia's. We feel very comfortable playing there. And it's definitely a very big Jerry vibe, and we like that.
Were you guys familiar? You must have been familiar because it came together pretty quickly, the project. But who was the most familiar with the Dead songs or playing them, and who was the least familiar? And how long did it take to everyone kind of catch up?
This is one of the only instances where almost everybody had I think everybody had a great grounding in the material, right? Everybody in the band knew the stuff. If not inside out, every tune, having played them all, probably not, but having heard them all, yeah. I mean, it was really fun, and that's been part of the joy of it, is really getting to explore all the different tunes that we want to. We're now down the list where, things like Cosmic Charlie are being contemplated, which is something the Dead themselves hardly ever played, mostly because it's got a sort of semi-impossible bridge. But it's very fun to sort of check these tunes out and to learn them together. And, everybody does quite a bit of work every month, as you can imagine,
sounds like it, yeah.
given that we have such a varied set list.
Coming from my end, I've been a Deadhead for many, many years. I'm a big 80s Deadhead. So I've been to quite a few Dead shows and offshoot bands as well. And I've seen my share, so I feel that I can bring a lot of the memories that I experienced going to various shows, different stories, parking lot stories, and just share the vibe with my band members, and just try to continue that trail. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, very good. You guys are doing a terrific job with the legacy of the music, and thank you for doing that. And coming Saturday, July 25th to the Great South Bay Music Festival at the Jambalaya Stage. Ripple Allstars, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate a chance to get to know you, and we look forward to seeing you at the festival this year. Thank you so much for coming on.
5:30 to 6:30, Jambalaya Stage.
You bet. See you there.